Khatib for today, Mr. Imam Irshad Osman, brother. He has been Danford Islamic Center's regular Khatib and has been giving sermon for the Eid prayer for past several years. And we thank him for his service. And inshallah, we will get valuable advice from him today for the Eid prayer and for the community. So thank you, everyone, for your patience and understanding. Let's welcome our Imam for the khutbah.
Jazakallah khairan, Brother Washim, and Jazakallah khairan. Thank you so much, Brad Bradford, for that wise remarks. Dear brothers and sisters, Islam, inshallah, I'm going to start the khutbah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd. Allahu Akbar, kullama salla musallin wa kabbar. Allahu Akbar, kullama sama sa'imun wa aftar. Allahu Akbar, kullama qama mu'minin wa tahajjad. Allahu Akbar, kullama tasaddaqa mutasaddiqun wa adhar. Allahu Akbar kabira walhamdulillahi kathira wa subhanallahi wa bihamdihi bukratan wa asila. اللهم لك الحمد كله بما يسرت لنا من قيام وصيام وتلاوة ودعاء وصدقة. لك الحمد كما تنعم كثيرا. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله صفي الله وخليله وأفضل من صلى وصام وقام ووقف بالمشاعر وطاف بالبيت الحرام. صلى الله وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله الطيبين وأصحاب الغر الميامين. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. أما بعد فعباد الله إني أحبكم في الله وأوصيكم ونفسي أولا بتقوى الله ومن يتق الله يجعل له مخرجا ويرزقه من حيث لا يحتسب. عباد الله أحييكم بتحية عيد الفطر المبارك وكل عام وأنتم إلى الله أقرب. قال تعالى في محكم كتاب العزيز أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون. صدق الله العظيم. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, I wish you all a blessed Eid al-Fitr. May Allah accept your fasting, sacrifices, all the good deeds you performed in this holy month of Ramadan. This is the day of reward, Jaza. May Allah reward you all with the highest reward of total forgiveness and the Jannatul Firdaus. Dear brothers and sisters, in this khutbah, I would like to reflect upon a philosophical religious poem titled Mantiqut Tayr, or Conference of the Birds. Written by celebrated Iranian poet Fariduddin Attar in the 12th century. It has about 5,000 lines of allegorical verses. It talks about thousands of birds journeying to find their king, Simurgh, to a mythical mount called Kaf. The birds were not ready to go on this long and arduous journey because they are confined by their comfort zone. They have their own weaknesses, challenges, and obstacles, which prevents them from going on this journey to find that bright future where they can find their king. For example, the peacock is more proud of his physical beauty and not interested in finding the king. The nightingale is obsessed with love for Rose and didn't care much about Simurgh. And the parrot is obsessed with his own cage, and it was afraid to go out. It thought that it will go, if it were to go out, it will perish. The quail is obsessed with few resources to protect. And Finch, the smallest one, was afraid because of his frail body, it may die if it were to take on this journey. And the hawk is obsessed with his social status, so he didn't care much about the king. And the duck was thought its only salvation is in the water. There's no other salvation outside the water. And the heron thought the ocean is the only world it can think of, it can see. But the humae is obsessed with his own status. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, here comes, so all these Fariduddin Attar talks about many birds in this book. He says every bird has its own achievement. It also had its flaws and temptations, which prevented them from finding that bright future or their king. There comes Hudhud, the hoopoe, which we know from the story of Sulaiman alayhi salam. It takes leadership and encourages everyone to take on this journey. It addresses each of their concern and gives short anecdotes from the history. It warns all of them about desires, falling into temptations. It says that that's a demon. If you give in to one, it will beget more and more demons in your life. Finally, all the birds agree to take on this journey to find their king. But now the second obstacle comes. They are ready to go, but they have to cross 7 valleys. The valley of quest, the valley of love, the valley of knowledge, the valley of detachment, the valley of unity, the valley of bewilderment, and the valley of poverty and nothingness. Each valley is more difficult than the other. So the birds started to feel self-doubt. The self-doubt creeps in, and they thought, can we cross these valleys? Is it possible? Did we sign up for something which we did not know the perils of this journey? And one bird screams helplessly, I can't go on this journey. I'm too weak. And dear hoopoe, it calls onto the leader, I can't fly anymore. I have never tried a feat like this in my life ever. So birds started to perish one by one. Some stopped without going further. Some gave up. Some fall prey to their own temptations again. Some protested and walked away. In the end, Faridun Athar says that only 30 birds out of the thousands of birds crossed all the valleys successfully and reached the mountain. But at the mountain, they could not find the king. The hoopoe explained to them that Seemerg in Persian means 30 birds. So what happens here is that the seekers were what they sought. When they gave up their fears and the obstacles and the temptations and took up the muster of the courage to find a better future, they became the future. They became the leader they were looking for. They found out their leadership qualities. They discovered their true strength and capabilities. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, this journey of birds resembles Ramadan in many ways. Before the beginning of Ramadan, we were obsessed with our own comfort zones. We never thought we could possibly get up 30 days at 4 o'clock and eat and have a meal. We can sleep at times which are not used to. We are not used to. We can do our chores, and we can, without taking any holidays from work, we can continue to do our work and go to study and face exams. We were confined, chained by our own temptations and faults, weaknesses, feelings of greed, anger, ego, envy, jealousy, self-doubt, and also sins. We were engrossed by the situation that we wanted to, but we were encouraged. We were encouraged by our own weaknesses, but at the same time, we were encouraged by the Quranic verse and a hadith, saying that if you want to attain spiritual enlightenment and taqwa, God piety and God consciousness, God-centered mindfulness, you have to take on this journey. You have to fast the 30 days of Ramadan. We took that journey and we crossed the valleys of quest. Then we had to cross the valleys of quest, where all material positions and superficial sense of power had to be renounced in Ramadan. We had to cross the valleys of love and knowledge and realize, which help us realize what saves us is wisdom and insight and divine guidance when all worldly knowledge fails. We had to cross the valley of unity and detachment, and to realize our insignificance in comparison to the Allah's glory and might. And we had to cross the valleys of bewilderment and nothingness for us to realize by abstinence of food and sleep and desires, we actually gained. We did not lose. We gained and we completely accepted the divine plan in our lives. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, now we are at the end of the journey. We have to ask ourselves, how many of us truly crossed the 7 valleys of Ramadan? How many of us reached the destination to find our true self? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Arullah fi anfusikum khayra." In Ramadan, show the best version of yourself. Now, did we discover that best version in the end of 30 days? What are the weaknesses that we discovered about ourselves that needs to be refined and further refined so that we can face the future of 11 months? And did we transform from being selfish and greedy to become altruistic? Did we develop a sense of social justice, a heightened sense of social justice towards those who are marginalized, vulnerable, and oppressed in our communities? Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Ramadan is not the end. It is the beginning of new journey. Just like the 30 birds came to the end, they realized this is our new journey. This is how we have discovered ourselves. We have to start our new journey in this new land with our renewed vigor and spiritual enlightenment. So, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, are we ready to inspire others? Are we ready to inspire ourselves to continue this journey, imbued with the passion and the commitment and the dedication we learn from Ramadan? Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, more questions to ask ourselves on this blessed day. We have to find ourselves in one of those birds, because that bird's weaknesses which Faridin Affar is talking about in the book could be ours. Are we one of those birds? We cross those valleys. And the story is nothing but the human struggle to attain spiritual enlightenment and righteousness and God-centered mindfulness that lead to social outcomes. Because spirituality in Islam is not about being a good person inside your mosque, but rather that light has to emanate from you outside to look after everybody. You have to be the beacon of hope in the community. You have to be the leader in the community. You have to be the one who initiate good things in the community, speak on behalf of others, to be the voice for the voiceless. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, in this blessed day, in this rejoiceful day, in this happiest day, I'm asking that we have to learn the lessons of Ramadan and take it forward. May Allah, barakallahu lana wa lakum bil Quran al-Azim wa nafa'ana bil ayati wa dhikr al-hakim innahu ta'ala jawadun karimun malikun azimun barrahim wa ghafurur rahim wa rabbun halim wastaghfiruhu innahu huwal ghafurur rahim. الحمد لله رب العالمين موفق العاملين وناصر المتقين. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الذي بنعمته تتم الصالحات وبفضله تحصل الدرجات وبكرمه تبذل الخطيئات. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحابته أجمعين. Inshallah, I'm going to recite the dua. Please say Ameen. اللهم أنت الكريم يا الله وأنت الرحيم يا الله وأنت الكبير المتعال يا الله. لك الحمد بالإسلام ولك الحمد بالصيام ولك الحمد بالقرآن ولك الحمد بالإيمان والفرحة والبهجة والسرور. لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. Ya Allah, we bid farewell to the month of Ramadan. It was the month of forgiveness, the month of revelation, the month of fasting and the charity. This beautiful month has departed from us. This year, your honorable guest visited us yet again during an unusual time. Yet, your guest made this a memorable Ramadan for us. It beautified our homes. It bonded our families. It empowered our children and brought us together in innovative ways, showed us what is possible beyond what we used to do, and purified us and filled our hearts with renewed vigor and energy. Ya Allah, the honorable guest who is with us for an entire month has returned back to you. Ya Allah, we ask that Ramadan be a witness for us, not against us in front of you, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, make us among those who have attained salvation and deliverance from hellfire during this blessed month. Ya Allah, don't let this be our last Ramadan. Bless us to witness more and more of this beautiful, beautiful month in our lives. Ya Allah, bless us to welcome Ramadan into our homes and hearts for many more years to come. Ya Allah, we raise our hands today in front of you with utmost humility. We are still suffering from this pandemic. Almost 2 years have gone. We plead from you to lift this pandemic from our communities, our country, and from this world. Ya Allah, save the people who are suffering more from this pandemic. Give us a cure soon, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, help us to come out of this pandemic. Ya Allah, shower your mercy upon everyone who lost their lives to this virus. Give their families the strength to bear the losses. Ya Allah, help those who lost their jobs and income to regain their financial stability soon. Ya Allah, save everyone from the pangs of poverty and helplessness. Ya Allah, our faith communities are suffering a lot these days to see their mosques and places of worship closed. Ya Allah, the administrators of these holy places are struggling to maintain it after the pandemic. Ya Allah, these are our places of hope. These are our oases in lives where we turn to find solace and comfort. Ya Allah, these are our children's anchors in their lives when they grow up. Ya Allah, we have built these community spaces as beacons of hope, forces of good and rights of righteous lives. Ya Allah, please protect our mosques and places of worship being closed. Ya Allah, help us to save the ecosystem that we have so fervently built for our future. Ya Allah, bless us to generously support these divine places to bring back to its past glory after the pandemic. Ya Allah, today we are rejoicing, but we know that many communities throughout the world are suffering from oppression and injustice. We saw what happened a few days ago in Baitul Aqsa. Masjid Al-Aqsa, our beloved place on earth. Ya Allah, it was attacked, it was plundered, it suffered a lot of damage, and the people were lost their lives. Ya Allah, help them against the oppression, help them against injustice. Ya Allah, we are amazed by their resilience to stand up for injustice. Ya Allah, give them the strength. Ya Allah, give them the strength. Make them, inspire them with more from your bounties and miracles. Ya Allah, social justice and advocacy is religious mandate that you have commanded us to do with our abilities. Ya Allah, empower all of us and to increase our strength and resolve through us and our work. Ya Allah, we ask that you strengthen the mothers and fathers in this community who have devoted their life to raise pious children. Ya Allah, bless them to raise excellent role models to this city and their country. Ya Allah, we ask that you strengthen the resolve of our children, teenagers, and youth in our community. Guide them to stand up for all what is right and shun all what is evil. Give them the wisdom to know the difference between the two. Ya Allah, we ask that you bless the seniors in our community who continue to inspire us with their upright life. Ya Allah, help our religious leaders, community leaders, school leaders, and political leaders to bring the best to our community. Elevate all of us to achieve the best in this world. Ya Allah, we ask that you guide us to contribute to our community, our city, and our country with all our capacities that you have blessed us with. Ya Allah, help us to leave a lasting legacy through our abilities to this country. Ya Allah, we ask that you bless our neighbors, brothers and sisters of other faith and non-faith who are among us, people who live among us, who support us and who defend us every day. Ya Allah, we ask that you make us grateful to you, mindful of you, full of love and fear towards you, and humble before you. Ya Allah, we ask for a mercy from you by which you will guide our hearts after Ramadan. Ya Allah, we ask for a mercy from you by which you will purify our intentions and deeds, settle our affairs, remove our worries and fears, and protect us and our families from all evils. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Eidukum Mubarak.